happens now?
Well, honestly, this is like my first time out, like being outside of Virginia, like in LA and like being around. So I definitely want to kind of explore LA more and see how I like it. But Virginia, they're not seeing me for too long. I'm not going to be there for too long. But I definitely want to be wherever Bryce is, that's for sure. Like, I don't like being away from him. I get like a little separation anxiety.
I know, it's crazy. Like, it's something we weren't anticipating. It was just like how much like our connection has like affected us outside of here too. It's like anytime she's even like, oh, I'm gonna go run this errand, I'm like, where's she going? Like, I'm like, my heart rate starts. I'm like, what's going on right now?
I had to pause on Bryce's challenge because I'm starting to realize I only think Bryce is hot because of Trinity. Oh, I'm so scared.
Me and my roommate were talking about how we believe in like in the next decade, white men are going to feel more of a freedom to more actively pursue Black women. And I feel like shows like Love Island give white men permission to pursue Black women. And so we were like, I feel like this great shift is going to happen where, you know, Black women are in this kind of like rock and a hard place where they want to be with Black men, but Black men are not like in a place to be able to court us. And white men are. And I think like Black women right now are kind of like, oh, that's not like, we don't want that. We want Black king, whatever. But I feel like shows like Love Island give us perspective on what it would be like to be pursued by a white man and like the perks of it and even the fun in it. And just to see like one of the healthiest couples on Love Island right now is Bryce and Trinity. And then last year, Nicolandria. It's like giving us like intel on like, oh, maybe. And I feel like shows like Love Island permit. And I mean, like, shift culture. As much as I want to be like, this show is dumb, it is changing things. My roommate is more on the side of white men should date Black women and Black women should allow white men to court them. I, however, am not there yet. I still want a Black man. But the more I see, the more I want.
This goes without saying, I don't give a fuck if Trinity was scamming. I don't care. And call it bias, call it double standard, I don't give a fuck. This girl got the internet having desirability politics about a white man. A white man. We're not over here wondering if Bryce actually likes Trinity. We're wondering if Trinity actually likes Bryce. She's changing the game. And to be honest, I find it real suspicious how you waited till the season ended to drop those text messages when you had the entire 6 weeks to drop those messages. I'm confused. Also, if you think a 22/23-year-old is not dating and that doesn't have a roster, I don't know what to tell you. But either way, the check has already been cleared. So I don't know what you want us to do. Call Peacock? It ain't gonna happen. Like, let her run that money in peace.
This is gonna sound a little bit crazy, but I don't really care if Bryce and Trinity are faking it because first of all, I don't think they are. And second of all, even if they are faking it, guess what? We give awards out for acting all the time. They're called Oscars, Emmys, Golden Globes, okay? Best acting performance in a reality dating show goes to Brinity. They've made it entertaining. They've made us believe in love. And by the way, I think that they are real, and Trinity is going to be so cute, even if it's just for a brief summer, of her in the DJ booth with Bryce when they get out of there. Not bad for a girl who had to quit her hardware store job.
Bryce said, that's me. Bryce said, Bryce said, y'all can shut the fuck up. Oh, okay. No, but okay. I mean, like,
So the winners of Love Island were recently announced. Trinity and Bryce, now claimed or known as Brinity. And, you know, this is a follow-up of the previous season of Love Island where we saw Olandria and Nick turned Nicolandria really just make its waves across the internet. I mean, the popularity of Nicolandria was pretty monumental. I mean, down to the fact where you had different women online, different Black women online explicitly talk about how the impacts of Love Island and just seeing the relationship between a white man and a Black woman is, quote, healing the world, unquote. Olandria said this out of her own mouth. And so now here we are with another season with another interracial couple that is continuing to, quote, heal the world, unquote. But But here's what shows like Love Island continue to reveal about Black women. No matter how much shame, guilt, and accusations are made towards the collective of Black men that says that, oh, Black men prefer white women, or they prefer lighter skinned women, or they prefer Becky with the good hair, or they don't love Black women. Like, no matter how much discourse is centered around Black men not choosing Black women, and this usually happens around, draft day, right? When you see the different NFL players, NBA players, or whatever being chosen, and they have a light skin or a non-Black woman on their arm. No matter how much we see those accusations being levied against Black men, the level of desire that Black women have collectively for white men is obvious for the entire world to see, down to the point that you have entire markets that have been making millions of dollars off of this unspoken yet obvious desire that's hidden in plain sight. Like, the whole world knows right now how much Black women collectively desire white men. And again, I wanted to be clear. I'm not saying every Black woman. I'm not saying that to be a Black woman is to wake up one day and have Nissan syndrome. What I am saying is that what shows like Love Island do is they tap into a market that is there. They tap into the innate desires that women collectively, and particularly Black women, have to be seen as the prettiest, to be seen as the most beautiful, to be seen as the desirable one, as the one setting the standards, as the one setting the trends, as the beauty standard. That's what shows like Love Island do. And the reason that white men in these instances are oftentimes the perfect side piece or the perfect trophy alongside these dark-skinned female winners is because the level of validation that white men provide Black women in a Western society. See, this will never be said explicitly, unless you're somebody like Alandria that says that, oh, a light-skinned man loving a Black woman is healing the world. Unless you're somebody like her who explicitly says it, I mean, you're not going to have a Black woman openly admit that her having a white man on her arm validates her femininity. But that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. You ultimately have Black women who desire to be seen on the same level, if not better than white women in a white Western society. And that's what shows like Love Island do. They capitalize off of that desire that a Black woman have to be seen just as beautiful, as just as feminine, as just as worthy, as just as desirable as, white women have historically been depicted. And that's why shows like Love Island continue to be popular. But the problem that I have with these kinds of narratives, it's not that interracial relationships are bad inherently. As I have said multiple times before, I see nothing wrong with two individuals falling in love and building a healthy relationship, whether they are of the same race or of different races or have different ethnic backgrounds. Nothing wrong with it. The problem I have is the unwillingness that these kind of shows and these kinds of conversations have to look at actual day-to-day reality. See, this is 2026, and you have Black women going around today still pretending as if we live in a post-racist society where to find a white man is to ultimately find someone who's going to be a Prince Charming, sweep you off your feet, and treat you better than the Black man down the street. But they're not dealing with the fact that we live in a society where there's a ton of economic challenges, right? There is a rise of neo-Nazism, there is a rise to the alt-right, and racism is alive and well. And blatant racism, not even just like covert, to the point to where now all you gotta do is go on Twitter, be a gamer, go on any sports television show, hell, turn on the news, and you are going to see open racist ideals, and you're going to see people and politicians promoting racist politics that ultimately is continuing to drive a wedge between people of different racial groups. So to deny the to overlook the reality of what's going on right now and to pretend as if white men are the safest and best deal at a time where white men showed that they are the most politically misaligned to Black women based upon the last election. White men collectively support Trump, right, and support politics that are, again, antithetical to the overall desires and pursuits of Black women. at a time where there is a legitimate resurgence of neo-Nazism. There is a legitimate push towards the alt-right. There is open and honest racism being talked about across major media platforms and even in political spaces. Like, to deny this reality and to pretend that just getting any old white guy, whether he is a DJ in the sense of a Bryce, a former DJ, someone who was a Tumblr modeler and who did blue collar work, like, to just act as any old white man will do, and that to have a white man is to inherently live a soft life. To me, not only is it just annoying and sickening, it's actually quite dangerous. And so that's why I continue to highlight these things, because what we're seeing is, again, we're seeing Hollywood continue to tap into the innate desires that women, and specifically Black women, have to be seen as the most beautiful, the most desirable, and the most attractive women. And their ticket to doing that in a white society is by having the validation of a white man. That's what shows like Love Island do. But again, it's completely disconnected from the reality of what is actually going on today, and the implications of that, which is, young everyday women who get caught up in this fantasy and believe that they too, need a little fantasy life and look at white men through that lens. That's where we go into the divested disasters. That's where we enter into the swirler sagas. How many stories have I covered off, and how many stories have you guys seen? And unfortunately, if this kind of delusion continues, then it will continue to happen. And again, I am not saying that interracial relationships are inherently bad. What I am saying is that anybody who decides to date somebody of their own race and outside of the race still has to be in reality. In shows like Love Island, they don't traffic off of reality, they traffic off of the fantasies of women. But unfortunately, you have many women, young and sometimes even old, who are not able to distinguish between reality and fantasy. They think they're the same, and that is incredibly dangerous. And at a time where women collectively, and yes, specifically Black women, are becoming more vulnerable economically. We saw the different changes that were made in the political, specifically through Elon Musk, right, through Doge, which basically removed funding and a lot of programs and support that were propping up Black women. We're seeing Black women without work. We're seeing Black women without jobs. We're seeing Black women struggle to pay rent and trouble to make ends meet. Some in those positions of extreme economic vulnerability, and not just economic, even social vulnerability, that is not the time to lean into fantasy. And it's especially not the time to embrace ideas or beliefs that essentially separate you from the only community who is the most likely to want to help and sustain you. So, are interrelationships inherently bad? Absolutely no way. Is it bad that the contestants of Love Island happen to be a white man than a Black woman? Not necessarily. Are the messages that are being promoted around interracial relationships toxic? Yes. And that's exactly what I'm addressing. And it's not helping Black women. If anything, it's making them more vulnerable. We have not seen the marriage rate. If anything, it's making them more vulnerable. And quite frankly, it just makes us look more desperate. And as I've mentioned before, companies, marketing companies, agencies, industries, they know this about Black women. That's why you had Scandal. That's why you had Bridgerton. That's why you had Queen Charlotte. They know this about Black women, and they're continuing to make money off of the fantasies of Black women. But at this point, we can't sit here and act like Black men are the ones out here who have such a thirst and such a desire for whiteness. I think there has to be a real honest conversation about how much of that discourse is actually self-projection, and whether or not it is coming from a place of true, genuine love and respect for people of other cultures, or it's simply coming from a place of desperation and self-hatred. And I would argue that it's the latter. But anyways, y'all, that's what I think about this whole thing. What do y'all think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye. Hey everybody, be sure to shop my Don't Blame Jermaine collection. I have this available in different colors. I also have it in hoodie and snapback and in baseball caps for your convenience. Check it out. And while you're at it, don't forget to grab your copy of It's Not Jermaine's Fault and Jermaine Did It Too. One of the things I love about these books is that they're culturally relevant yet age appropriate, designed with both kids and adults in mind. They're meant to illustrate real life scenarios in a way that can provoke age appropriate yet meaningful conversations that everybody can enjoy. You can grab your copy today on Amazon or through my website, available now in digital and paperback formats. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope you enjoy reading these books as much as I loved writing them.